We want to talk about that press conference where the law enforcement announced that they had gotten a suspect in custody after Charlie Kirk's assassination, and particularly how the FBI Director Kash Patel has acquitted himself during this entire tragedy. Today, Dave was no different. He was so sycophantic in terms of thanking President Trump, and he just said things that were erroneous and frankly embarrassing at this press conference. But we do want to talk to our dear friend Elie Honig about this because he, of course, worked at the SDNY, knows so many FBI agents and just how they're feeling about Kash Patel at the helm of this. So take a listen. I just watched the Kash Patel press conference
Yeah.
along with the locals. That was cringeworthy. I didn't, you don't get the impression, this is my impression, listening to Kash
Yep.
Patel, the FBI director, that you're in good hands.
No.
He said so many just ridiculous. I mean, he started by being wildly sycophantic to President Trump, and he made these outlandish claims. This is historic. We were able to catch this suspect in 33 hours. That's not historic. I mean,
Ugh.
right, thank God they caught him, but
Look,
that's the credit to the local law enforcement and to the great investigative teams, and sure, to the FBI. But it's almost like he doesn't know anything about law enforcement.
he
If he thinks suspects where you have full video of them aren't caught in
right.
33 hours, he doesn't know what he's talking about.
He is a first of all, thank God they caught this guy. I mean that my you know, like I couldn't eat after I saw what happened to Charlie Kirk, and I can always eat. And I mean, it was like physically repulsed and horrified by, of course, the assassination, and also by the reaction of someone left is disgusting and should be utterly rejected. People celebrating this. Oh. Kash Patel does not know what he's doing. That became very clear a couple days ago when he posted, "We have a subject in custody," and then had to walk it back. You don't post. I mean, every FBI agent I know. By the way, I worked with. I mean, many of my close friends are FBI agents, many of whom are Trump supporters who were horrified. They first of all, they almost uniformly think Kash Patel's a ridiculous pick to be FBI director. They were so pissed by that he announces that. And then you don't announce that in a case like this until you're 100% sure. And what he should have said, I will say I didn't see the presser because I was doing a different interview. But what you do at a presser like that, if you're the FBI director, is you stand up and first of all, you talk about the person who was killed and his family. And then you say, and the work that's been done here has been top notch. What you just said, Allison, by the locals. This is what happens when law enforcement cooperates, when locals and county and state and federal people work together. We got our resources on this together, and we made this case. It's great. They did great work. They got him relatively quickly, but it's not history making. I mean, people have been caught quicker than that. So why the hyperbole is unnecessary here? The facts themselves are compelling enough.
Yeah, it has just been a disturbing. The whole thing is just unfortunate, and this is not about legalese or the pending trial, but the way the president handled this in the aftermath, I thought poured gasoline on the fire. I mean, naming off 6 or 7 attacks on Republicans and conservatives without mentioning January 6th or the governor of Pennsylvania or Nancy Pelosi, or we could go on. There's a long list on both sides, and not trying to bring down the temperature on both sides. I thought it was appalling. What did you think of his leadership in the aftermath?
I would have liked to have seen a more conciliatory message for sure. I do understand. Look, he knows this person individually, and I do understand like the emotional reaction to it. But you're the president, and your job, I think, is to rise above. We've seen examples of look at George W. Bush after 9/11. Look at Barack Obama after the murders in the church, in the Methodist church, the Black church. I mean, you will get chills at how beautiful those moments are. Both of them. It would have been nice to see that, and to see, a sort of a higher aim taken by the president. But look, I do sort of, I felt that visceral anger and I'm not, I'm not really political or partisan either way. And I do understand that visceral anger, but look, it's not really for the president to voice that.
Yeah, I agree with you, Ellie. I was gutted. I was gutted. I have an 18-year-old son, Nate, and he looked up from the sofa. He goes, "Charlie Kirk was shot." I was like, like it was
That's
too
what
body
Yep.
blow.
Yeah.
I was in an airport and I found out from my son, my 20-year-old son, and I'll tell you, like, my son, who's a very alpha kid, was freaked out by this, like legit freaked out by this in a way, and that I felt the same. I don't know if it's the gory. I mean, look, we have that video, which God help us was everywhere. That, hopefully they're pulling it down now. But just that the fact that you could be gunned down like that for engaging in political speech. I don't care if you hate Charlie Kirk's speech or love it. He's engaging in political speech. That's how I give him. He went onto college campuses, not friendly forums for him, and unfolded a card table and said, "Let's talk."
He said, "Prove me wrong." I mean,
Yeah.
which
Prove me
is
wrong. Fine. Good. That's what we're supposed to be about.
totally
Yeah.
agree. That's discourse. I mean,
Yes.
that's debate, and he was up for it. He was game for
Yep.
that, for the debate, and he was very good at it.
100%.
Yeah, I disagree with most of his takes, but the utmost respect for the way he went about his business, engaging in dialogue with those who opposed him. And he was clearly a wonderful father. I mean, if you've seen that is just heartbreaking to me on it.
His parents are still alive. He has these 2 young kids. It's a nightmare.
But I was hoping that maybe this would change our industry, and we don't have to get into this, but watching Megyn Kelly rant about trans, and then so many on the right really just inflamed the situation so much worse than it possibly could have been, broke my heart. I thought this would turn down the temperature in the YouTube and podcast space, and it frankly just more gasoline on the fire.
Had a sad moment like that. So Michael Smerconish, who's a friend of ours, I'm talking like a mobster friend of ours, but a guy we all know and respect, has this newsletter where every day there's a daily poll. And his poll the day after was, will this ultimately help us turn down the temperature? Now, I knew this was going to be a heavy no vote, but I voted and it was 95-5 no. And I thought, oh, that is depressing. It's I'm sure a real reflection of where we are, but how depressing.
Yeah.
And I agree.
Outrage and anger is a little bit of an addiction for me. It lights up that brain center for people on the right. I'm sure the left too, but I mean, I'm talking about the podcasters who are super, whose rhetoric can often be toxic.
I know you got to go, but a quick question on a prediction that I think 2028 will be a great Elie Honig book, because I do believe the president is laying the groundwork for a 3rd term, or for at the very least declaring an emergency and not leaving, which will put all the power, importance on the Supreme Court and beyond, because there's no enforcement mechanism of the Supreme Court. Do you predict some type of disaster and how the courts could and will hopefully stop it?
No, I differ from you. I don't think Trump's going to try to. I don't think he's going to run. I know he posts memes and all that. I don't think he's serious about it. And if he does try to run, the Supreme Court would not allow it. I know there's this weird little loophole where it's ridiculous. Like the Constitution says you cannot run for president a 3rd time, but it should say you cannot be. So people are like, well, you could run for VP and then get escalated. I don't think he has any interest in doing that. I know people who know him. Look, he's 79 years old. I mean, why would he take a risk of losing an election? Or I believe we will. I'm confident we will have a presidential election in 2028, and he will not be running for it. I don't go for that. I mean, look, we're both guessing, but I don't believe we will come to that apocalyptic scenario.
From your lips to God's ears.
Let's hope I'm right.
Elie, so great to see you. This is wonderful. I'm really glad to hear about your book and to hear all of your hot takes.
Thank you, guys. It's always a joy to speak with both of you. I appreciate it.
Good stuff there from longtime CNN analyst Elie Honig, a good friend of the show. We're going to talk to him on Tuesday about his book, When You Come at the King, The Evolution of Presidential Powers and Where We Are Now. It's this uncomfortable territory. We're also going to talk to him about the Epstein case, and will tariffs ultimately be tossed out by the Supreme Court, and a story that might blow your mind when it comes to President Clinton. Something you have definitely never before heard. That is on Tuesday right here on Sanity. Please like and subscribe to the channel, guys.